Nutraceuticos, and we're here to share a dose of knowledge on what works, what won't. We'll entertain you and we'll show us innovative.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Dose podcast, except I have no idea where Todd is, but he'll pop up at some point.
Devon. Let's talk men's health, shall we?
That is an amazing costume, my friend.
You know, I've been told often in my life, not often, sometimes, don't be that guy.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of dicks in my day, but this takes the cake. Well,
You know-
we're here to talk about men's health, as you said.
And when I think men's health, I think of, octopuses have 8 brains, one for each arm. Men, they've got 2 brains. And
They're not
one
for
of-
each arm.
one of them is located where, in the annals of gender wars, I'm thinking Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs, and Brangelina, all that stuff. I am here to tell you there might be just one way that it's better to be a man than a woman. Just one. We can pee standing up.
Yes, you can. You
See?
can write your name in the snow.
A very charming little act to do. I've done that before. I've done that on ski hills. Taken pictures, sent it to my beau. I'm like, look, it's true. It must be love. But when we're talking men's health, when we're talking supplements, the first thing that comes to mind is you want to get up and go.
Yes.
That's it. And so when I think get up and go, the first thing that we think about is Viagra, right? Like,
Of course.
So here's what the pharmaceutical industry has done for the sake of sex for women, so that you don't get pregnant. You could take the pill. For men, you older men, on your second or third wife, and all of a sudden maybe you don't have it as well as you used to. So, Viagra, which notably that works because of nitric oxide. That's its mechanism of action. It makes the blood flow into things that might want blood to flow in them in order to, be their true self, be their best self.
Which is why we see nitric oxide or boosters in a lot of sports supplements, right? Because it gets things moving so you can get blood to the muscles while you're working out.
That's right. Yeah. And nitrates, they're converted into nitric oxide. This is the molecule that helps relax and dilate the blood vessels, and it promotes the optimal blood flow, right? And so things that promote optimal blood flow, where do you want that blood to flow? So sure, we have these nitric oxide, precursors in supplements, and they are marketed for performance, performance on the pitch, as it were. But, there's different pitches out there, and, performance is a many splendored thing. And,
Absolutely. It's all important for men's health.
It is, and for women's health, come on.
Yes.
We're here
Yes.
for you. We're here to serve.
Of course, but we talked about women last time. It's your turn today.
That's right. We're staying with the Dose Ingredient podcast. We're starting strong, and we're starting with things that you can
Find in your underwear.
Optimize inside your underwear. That's right. And because why the heck not? You got to start somewhere, and we might as well go big.
Might as well start with the hardest subjects, right?
Oh my God, the puns are flying, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yes.
I've had some people say, Todd, if you dress up like that, takes some serious balls.
Oh yeah.
Two. Look, there's my right.
You're hitting the nail on the head today, my friend.
And the left one is hanging lower than the right. So we are accurate biologically, physiologically.
Well, I mean, our breasts aren't usually the same size either, so. One's
that right?
usually bigger than the other. Yep.
Huh. I'll have to take a closer look at that later on. As for now, let's talk about these nitric oxide precursors. One of the leading ones from Sabinsa, they have their sabit, and it comes from beets. And beets are I've been ruined by beets and Brussels sprouts and liver from from childhood, from getting those meals that didn't quite sit with the 8-year-old Toddy. And
Yeah.
but
I love beets and Brussels sprouts, but liver I can do without.
I had a friend, the great Katie Kinsella. Katie, are you out there somewhere? She
I know
turned me on.
Katie.
Yeah, so she turned me on to Brussels sprouts. What she chopped up a bunch of garlic, and if you put enough garlic in anything, it improves upon it, except for things that a vampire might like. We'll get into that in some other episode, perhaps. But yeah, so there was a 2016 study using sabit, and it used 5 grams. So 5 grams, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like, as much as you would find on a salad of beets. But, so I don't know, maybe some sushi and a beet salad, and that's a food-based aphrodisiac. I don't know. Maybe we just made that up right now. So you would tend to then find these products in powders, right? Because 5
Yes.
is way too much.
Yes.
And then so interestingly, and kudos to Sabinsa, they followed up with a later study. It was a safety study. So it was a dose ranging study, and they tested as high as 20 grams, which is like 4 times bigger than the 5. And it was well tolerated by older adults. So that's great. There was other studies on sports specifically, and they found 500 milliliters
Milliliters of beet juice. Yes.
yeah, beetroot juice, 2.5 hours before a 2.5 to 10 mile thing, and it improved time by 2.8%. And so if you're a competitive athlete, 2.8%, I don't know, do the math, that could be the difference between landing on the podium and not. So there might something there. And then there was I saw something else. There was the Super Beets Sport. This is a finished product. Now, finished product supplement companies rarely conduct clinical trials. Usually it's
That
the
is true.
suppliers and it's the universities doing the heavy lifting. But so give it up for Super Beets. And they used 10.5 grams, which is quite the bolus, but
Yeah.
it increased endurance and stamina. Wait a minute, endurance and stamina? Did someone say endurance and stamina? I know what that could help.
Yeah, you're standing at attention today.
And so again, a large dose of 5 grams. We like to talk about doses here because pixie dust is our sworn enemy of quality, responsible supplements. And Devon, do you recall our marching orders, our phrase du jour? It was
Efficacious dose of clinically validated ingredients.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear that. Oh, hold on. Calm down. Think baseball. Think Yankees. I think they won last night. Okay, fine. So did the Mets in Fenway. Okay. So
Whatever gets you excited, Todd.
I'm always a little bit excited.
That's good to know.
Sometimes it makes it difficult to get into my monkey suit at trade shows. I think it's interesting that Amazon, which I guess is now the leading regulatory body, did you just see where the Trump administration is trying to get rid of the FDA and devolve CGMP inspections down to states, which that has train wreck written all over it.
I agree.
And Josh Long, he wrote a great story in Supply Side Supplement Journal today.
Yes,
and
he did.
Great conversation on LinkedIn with some people saying, yeah, it might work. And a lot of people saying, are you kidding me? Like, that's what happened with hemp, and that was a train wreck. And then what the best comment I heard is, what country is going to want to receive imports from the USA when you have 50 different, inspection paradigms? And it's like, there might be a race to the bottom, like the states like New York, New Jersey, California, Utah, that have a lot of supplement, presence. They might have, state regulators that can, get going on this.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of states that don't. And you might find, shoddy contract manufacturers setting up shop in some state that doesn't know what's going on, really.
Oh, absolutely.
So that
I mean, state and local governments are set up for inspecting restaurants and things like that, but inspecting food that is made on the fly versus things that are packaged and sent all over the world, two completely different things.
Yeah, that's bad. And so
Yeah.
anyway, so the FDA they haven't really been up to snuff for a while now, which is why all these states have been coming in, putting out state laws to to outlaw, muscle building things for minors and stuff like that.
Hmm.
There's long been a problem of sex and muscles and sex, drugs, rock and roll. What were the third ones? Diabetes, maybe it was. That it's like, oh, we have adulteration problems. And so Amazon, they have this new, third-party testing requirements. And in August of last year, it nabbed Boom Max and Endurance Pro Energy Boost. They were both adulterated with sildenafil, which is the common name for Viagra.
Yep. You mentioned that during our last podcast. You said you did some in-depth academic research on dick pills or supplements, shall we say, and a lot of them were adulterated with sildenafil.
Right. Just a disaster. I mean, should we clear up the difference now between adulterated versus adultery?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Adultery, here's a dad joke. Tracy Kantowski, are you there? I think you said I get one dad joke.
Or none. Or none.
Well, yeah, I know, but we're going to start with one. I don't even know if this is a dad joke. This might be inappropriate for children. No, I think this counts.
Okay. Lay it on me.
What's the difference between Jeff Bezos and Moses?
You tell me.
One issues commandments around adulteration and the other around adultery.
So Moses says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Jeff Bezos says, thou shalt not adulterate.
That's right. Thou shalt not commit adulteration.
Okay.
That's right. There is a difference
That's a good joke. That's pretty decent.
Right?
Yes.
And FDA, they've actually listed about 400 sex supplements found to contain hidden ingredients. That means sildenafil, Viagra. So it's like, that is kind of dangerous. Like if people are thinking they're getting, one thing, but they're getting something else. And, I don't know. I don't have any firsthand, practice because I'm looking pretty good. I don't think I need any. Well, I'm sitting down now. Huh, I'm very excited now. What the hell? Oh, look, hands up. I'm not touching myself. Everything. Got to keep myself in check here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other blood flow ingredients out there because there are a lot.
There are quite a few. There was one that I looked up from Solabaya. It's called Actiful. It's an orange and pomegranate complex, but the dosage is only 500 milligrams. So that's definitely a lot less than all those beet ingredients out there.
Right? Yeah, you could put that in a pill. That's good.
Yeah. And
not
it even
uphill, but uphill.
A pill, yes, absolutely. They did do a clinical trial, and they also did one on the elderly, and it showed improved hand strength and psychological function. So I'm sure there's a joke there to be made about men valuing their hand strength.
Hand strength, that's right. Yeah, grippings is important.
Absolutely.
Had a joke here, but here it is. Look, hand strength. Good. I've got it. Got it going on.
All right, good.
Hands up. Don't shoot.
Yep. We also have horny goatweed.
Come on. I mean, that's probably the poster child of dick pill ingredients because it's got horny goatweed.
Yeah, you don't get a better named supplement ingredient than that, but I couldn't find any human clinicals on it. I found some on rats, but that's not gonna help much. So I find it interesting. That's one of the most popular ingredients in all of these male supplements, but there's no clinical research to back it up, at least that I could find.
It's one of those things where the name just sells itself. It was kind of like how CBD kind of sold itself because people thought, oh, that's that marijuana supplement, right?
Yeah.
like you don't have to make any claims about it. It's like it's CBD, wink, wink.
Yeah, even though it doesn't have the THC in it.
Right, but that didn't help. It didn't stop millions of people from stopping at their local gas station and getting crappy product.
Yes.
And then we wonder why it went to hell, the whole CBD market. I covered that a lot in my previous life, and it turns out it didn't grow like a weed.
Yeah.
You had to be a farmer, and so there was a lot of well-meaning stars in their eyes hippies who tried to said, yeah, I could plant this stuff.
Do we think there's any sort of placebo effect with things like that? I mean, would the fact that you're taking horny goat weed automatically help you? I mean, because sometimes with men, it's a psychological issue, right?
For sure. I mean, like they say, the biggest the biggest sex organ is the brain.
100%.
There's two brains, one and two. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's true. And, you could probably make a business selling placebo supplements because it's like 30%, right? It varies, per thing, but there's a solid aspect to the placebo effect. So go for it. Oh my God, Tracy, I have another joke. I'm not going to tell. See, I'm a recovering dad jokeaholic.
Tracy, I don't know if I can keep them under control. Yeah.
Okay, hey, we're having fun now. So there's the OG, the original gangsta blood flow ingredient, and that's ginseng, right? That was it's got the ginsenosides and the saponins, and that's long been used for brain health because the thinking is it helps the the blood flow into the brain, and so you want that. It's always good to have blood flow. Blood flowing is for good going, and and so both those compounds, the ginsenosides and the saponins, they increase nitric oxide activity, the NO, synthase activity, the enzymes, and blood flow. Here's a study. It says it quote facilitates blood flow to the penile corpora cavernosa. I mean, we're talking double and triple entendres right there. I mean, what is this cavernosa thing?
I thought women had caverns, but what do I know?
Look, a cavern.
So I actually didn't believe you that ginseng was used in male health like you were talking about until I did some research into it myself. But we also found that it could improve sperm count and quality, and it could improve increase semen volume. I don't necessarily know that that's a good selling point, but helping with male fertility is important.
For sure. I remember when I was, many moons ago when we were trying to have kids, I was like gobbling pumpkin seeds. I was doing all the things, mobility, motility, number, you wanted everything. You wanted it going on, And so there's some interesting research getting back to the efficacious dose of clinically validated ingredients with Panax quinquefolium. That would be that's one of the more common forms of ginseng.
It's American ginseng.
American ginseng. Thank you very much for that.
You're
And
welcome.
they found between 600 and 1200 milligrams work for that. But then Panax ginseng, what is that? Is that
Just regular ginseng, I think.
That's regular. And because what's Siberian ginseng? Is that Eleuthero? Is that what happened to Siberian ginseng? It got renamed into Eleuthero? Eleuthero was also around 625 milligrams. I in the research. Panax, there was a study with 100 milligrams twice a day, so it's 200. 150 two times a day, that's 300. Look, my math is great. My math is getting better. Oh my God! You know why?
Because your blood flow is improved to your brain.
That's right. And I'm. Can we have a math dad joke? Sorry, Tracy.
I'll allow it.
Why are women so bad at math? Because they've always been told that that's 6 inches. Thank you. Okay. Moving right along.
That's not a math joke. That's a penis-sized joke. But it's funny. I will allow it.
Right, Tracy, it's allowed.
That one I will allow. We also looked at Korean red ginseng, and that was 800 to 3,000 milligrams. So still on the larger side for some of these things.
Did someone say larger size?
Yeah, that pun actually was not intended, but you do what you will with it.
Right. The jokes just write themselves. I'm not going to say
they do.
anymore. Oh, well, let's leave a moment for the studio audience out there to come up with just a random penis joke.
I think we should ask people to submit their penis jokes on LinkedIn.
Oh my God, let's keep it clean, as clean as possible.
Well, I mean, there's this whole weird LinkedIn movement, which we totally fit into. So why not?
Right? Let's refer to it as the penis.
Okay.
Or what was it? What was the penile corpora cavernosa? Get a little Latin. Go for it. So, speaking of Latin, and words that start with the letter L, there is the L-arginine amino acid, and this is a precursor to nitric oxide, and it's converted by NO synthase. Anytime you have a word that ends with ACE, that's the enzyme. And so L-arginine, it increases the availability of nitric oxide, and it leads to improved erectile function. And it's a
Yes.
common ingredient in ED supplements. Now, you can't really call it ED because that would be
A
that's the
disease
name
state.
of the disease, right? The
Yep.
erectile dysfunction. Can't call it that. But so I don't know, call it whatever you want. And so it was 5 grams of L-arginine for 2 weeks. And so that was something. And then that's L-arginine. And then L-arginine. I also saw L-citrulline, another amino acid.
I've seen that too. Yes.
And that was 3 grams, so not 5, but 3. So you're getting lower. Then I want to point out Nutrition 21 out there, a great little company out of New York. They thought that was a cool name because they were like ahead of the game on saying the 21st century. I'm just guessing. Now here we are in the 21st century.
So they're
They
going to
took
have to
the
be
face out.
Nutrition 22 at some point.
Right. When does that happen? When are you guys going to get on the sticker? I'll give you until at least 2051, and then it's like, oh, right, we're on the tail
Fair.
end of. I don't know. Anyway, so they're nitrosogene, and that's an arginine silicate plus a potassium silicate, and they put them together, and they found only 1.5 gram. Now we're getting close to capsule size, or maybe a tablet if you can compress the crap out of it. So anyway, so that's interesting, and so all these things have shown various stages of effects, but it still it's a tricky subject. Like anytime we're talking about any of these sexual health things, it's like, well, there's the drug, and does the supplement actually do anything? It's questionable, and Don McLemore, who used to be the head of the New Hope Standards Department, he used to say, this was 10 or 15 years ago, he would say, if there's any supplement that gives you wood, it's adulterated. That was his opinion on it. So
it's a huge market. There's so many
is.
supplements out there for men.
Yeah. And I don't know, like if you can increase the blood flow, and, this was the conversation I had with Don. It was probably right around the time when Viagra was getting approved. And so that was like this whole mechanism of action around nitric oxide, around increasing the blood flow. And again, that's where you get into the ginsengs, which is like, okay, it increases blood flow. Does it increase blood flow like that and when you want it? Or is it just something that just in general, makes you a little better, a little more blood flow throughout the body?
Yeah, because the effects, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, but the effects, like if you take, Viagra or Cialis or something like that, those are pretty instantaneous, aren't they? Or close.
I wouldn't know. Thank you very much.
Okay.
For sure. But we can ask the internet and see what they say. Let's see. Yeah, it seems pretty quick and could last for quite a while. You better have a weekend alone with a partner who is into it.
Well, if you're like that for more than 4 hours, Todd, you might want to consult your physician.
Is that right?
Yes.
It could be embarrassing.
Hopefully you will deflate by then.
Right. What does he come? Comes up with a little. Okay, hold on.
Ouch.
Hey,
Ouch.
maybe. Yeah, you know what it is? It's this internal. It's the internal. Hold on.
No.
I'm.
You don't have to deflate right now, Todd. It's okay.
I don't. I am
No.
still just a little excited after all. I wouldn't want to do anything untoward. Now I'm getting excited. Hands up. Calm down. There is also maca. Remember
Yes.
maca? That was like a huge ingredient. I don't know. It's hard to say. 8 years ago. It was
Maca is one of those that's big for women too,
right for the libido, right?
and
but
for hormonal balance.
Okay, yeah, right. And it's also referred to as Peruvian Viagra. So it kind of goes both
Okay.
ways. And that there was like 1.5 to 3.5 grams per day for 2 to 12 weeks. You know, I've seen studies around that.
Yep.
One study I was looking at used 2.4 grams for 12 weeks, and it found, quote, significant improvement in physical and social performance related satisfaction profile score in adult men with mild ED.
Okay.
And this was a South Korean study, and it found significant positive effects of maca on sexual desire in healthy menopausal women.
You
So,
really did your homework on this episode, Todd.
hey, I'm not screwing around here, people.
Or are you?
Well, you be the judge of that. You know, there was also there was this study. You know, that was in South Korea. There was a study in Boston, which lost to the New York Mets last night. Doug Ward, are you out there? I know you were at the game at Fenway. It was using a gram and a half and 3 grams per day on 16 women, and it found significantly improved libido. To your point, but this was the funny thing, they used this scale, the letters, what do you call that? The acronym. It was called the ASEX scale, ASEX. It's like, oh my God, true story. It stands for the Arizona Sexual Experience Scale. And
Okay.
it says it's a user-friendly, it's a sex scale. It better be user-friendly. Is that a double entendre? I think it might be. So a user-friendly 5-item rating scale that quantifies your sex drive, arousal, vaginal lubrication, ability to reach orgasm, and satisfaction from orgasm. Isn't satisfaction from orgasm always a 5? I don't know. But they found 3 gram worked. 1.5 gram did not improve libido. But then also they found that the maca it alleviated the SSRI induced sexual dysfunction. So those are
Okay.
like the antidepressants out there.
Yes. Yes.
So
selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
that's right. Thank you for that. And I mean, isn't that sort of weird? It's like you're taking an antidepressant and it makes your sex dysfunction go away. It's like, how is that helping my depression?
It's a common thing. But not everyone in this world needs sex to have a happy life. I don't understand those people
That's right.
quite as well, but
Are those actual
exist.
people?
Yes. Yes, there are all kinds, Todd.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't help it. Wait, hands up, don't shoot.
You're having way too much fun in that costume.
You know, I think we should let's move on a little from the penis health. There's other things going on inside men's underwear, you know.
There are. But
And
there's also other ingredients or other mechanisms by which erectile function is helped. There's a few ingredients out there that boost testosterone too.
testosterone boosters, right?
Yes.
That I don't know how I feel about that. You know, like women are counseled for, hormone replacement therapy, but that's when they go through menopause. And why do they call it menopause if it's a women thing? Shouldn't it be called womenopause?
I have no idea. They call it andropause, I guess.
All
or
right.
what was it? Age-related hypogonadism if your testosterone is dropping. Yeah, that sounds
Wait,
horrible.
someone say,
Gonad. Yes, I said gonad.
that's not my knee, kids. Ugh. I can't wait for Halloween.
Wow.
Yeah, so
You got some big balls to match that big personality of yours, Todd.
so wait a minute. Is there a menopause? Is there like not a menopause for women, but a menopause for men? Is
There
that a thing?
seems to be. There seems to be. I mean, not every guy. I mean, don't take my word for this because I'm a woman, but from what I've read, not every guy battles low testosterone. Some do and some don't. But that's the same for women too. Not all of us require hormone replacement therapy. But I do see a lot more mention of testosterone replacement therapy. So hormone replacement therapy does exist for your side of things too. Are you doing okay over there?
Oh, it's hard to be a penis. That wasn't a dad joke, was it?
No.
I'm trying to turn this thing on.
No.
It's just not. I'm just. It looks like maybe it has turned on. There's a switch in here somewhere.
Yeah, you're
Oh, I know. This is why I can't find it. This is not. Hold on. Whew. Now I'm stuck.
You're gonna take. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and
Todd
gentlemen.
has emerged.
I've emerged. Well, I am swollen with pride or something. Um, I'm swollen with the desire for edutainment. We hope that you
Swollen
have
with
learned.
desire isn't any better.
Wait, is that an Eddie Vedder line?
No.
Yet, not yet. Eddie, if you're out there, go ahead. You can take that. You can steal that from me. So yeah, menopause. That's so. What do we do about that? Is that? Oh, it's so quiet around here. Whew. Um.
I mean, you could do testosterone replacement therapy, or you could take ingredients that help boost testosterone. Pretty much the same for a woman.
Oh, that's interesting. So I wonder, there's like Testofen from TSI, Larry Culp's company out of Montana, Testofen with a name like that. You would think that there's Testofen.
Testofen is Gencor, I think, isn't it?
I don't.
It's the I think it's the Testofen's the fenugreek extract. It's one of those ingredients that works in men and women, like we talked about a little bit last week.
Isn't that Libafem?
They're both.
Gencor.
They're both.
They are okay.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
it up for Gencor. Nice going. Yeah. So
TSI's got some great stuff too, though.
yeah, for sure. So let's end this with talking about the other side of inside men's underwear. Well, it's not really the underside. No, I'm not thinking. But
The other use for the penis.
that's right, and that would be the prostate. Now, the prostate. I mean, what is that? Is that going to help you pee? I know when it swells to the size of a walnut, you got problems.
Yes. So you want to keep your prostate in check and healthy so that you can pee normally.
Right, and what I've heard, which is sort of almost obvious, but one of the ways, the primary natural way that you can keep your prostate healthy and functioning, is to use it a lot, is to have a lot of ejaculations, however that might come out, left hand, right hand, or someone else. I'm sorry, is that a dad joke? No, we're just having fun. This is just straight up fun.
You can't just call everything a dad joke. Like,
That's right.
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's just humor, damn it. And
And that's okay.
yeah, things are supposed to be fun, and they're
Yes.
supposed to be funny, and
That's why people are listening to us, because we're entertaining and educational.
that's right. I know I'm funny. I know looks aren't everything, but I can be funny. Yeah. So Saul Palmetto, what the standard dose? What is that? Is that it's
320 milligrams
yeah,
is
right.
what I
And I think
found.
a lot of studies they do it twice a day, so they'll do
Yes.
160 twice a day,
Yes,
and
agreed.
that keeps your the size of the prostate in check, which is nice.
Yep, it reduced urinary frequency, improved emptying of the bladder, helps with sexual function a little bit also, and there was also some preclinicals showing that it could prevent prostate cancer. So that's kind of interesting. Not that
Right.
you could claim that on the label because it's a disease state, but
Right. But when you're saying prostate, that's there's BPA, benign prostatic
hyperplasia,
hyperplasia, right?
I think.
BPH. Yeah, BPH.
Yep.
And but then like the other thing is like prostate cancer. People know that, and so you definitely want to keep that in check. I last summer I got my first physical since I turned my head and coughed in elementary school. I don't know what they were doing there except trying to see if you flinched when they put a cold metal spoon there. But the number was supposed you wanted it to be under 4, and I was like 1.8. And I was like, phew, okay.
Very good.
I
Very
got that
good.
going for me.
So
I
do
was
you
I was concerned my karma would have a problem because too many penis jokes, over my life. Is that going to come back to haunt me? Should I try to clean up my act?
So does your doctor recommend that you get your PSA checked every year then? Is that a common thing for men?
I don't know. I only just had it once, and I suppose you're supposed to have an annual physical, but I just
Yes.
nailed it all. Everything was like right down the line. So I figure I could be a little slacky about my next one. Like maybe I won't do it this summer. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But at least I got the baseline and everything was good. So I'm like, all right, that's good. Carry on.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if we said PSA is prostate specific antigen, and it's a simple blood test that men out there that you can do. And if it's elevated, then you should definitely get yourself checked.
Yeah, and when you go in, at least mine, the blood test got preceded with the, friendly little finger, and just to kind of get the first assessment, and that was interesting.
Well, it's important to get those things checked. I just had my mammogram not too long ago.
There you go. Here we
So,
are, back in the women's health.
We have to take care of it doesn't matter if we're a man or a woman. We should take care of our health and take care of ourselves so we can take care of each other.
That's right. I'm just full of love right now. Love and excitement. Oh my God. I guess we're talking sexual health, but we can talk about it, anything is like that. Really, that's what the supplements game is, we only have one life that we know of. This could be heaven. We could be here in heaven right now as we speak. And so we want to live our best life. We don't want to just barely get along. We want to slide into home base, saying, woohoo, that was a great hit. What a great game that was. Awesome.
Absolutely.
And so supplements can really help us live our optimal life. And
yes,
so
they
today,
can.
We're talking just about men's health, and last time we were talking about women's health. We're going to cover the gamut of optimal living in this podcast, and
yes, we are multiple times. I'm sure we'll go over all the different body parts, because once we get done talking about the whole body, there will be more new ingredients out there to talk about.
That's right. Yeah. And the science just keeps on coming. It's always good to talk about that. This is really the foundation of the industry, because you got to prove that these things work. You have to demonstrate efficacy. What is the efficacious dose of clinically validated ingredients?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. Really good stuff. Perhaps we should leave it there for now, Devon. What do you say?
Yeah, I think we can get you out of that costume so you can breathe a little bit.
It's a little hot in here.
So take off all your clothes. Yeah, never mind me. Is
Not
that
quite yet.
Nelly? That's
P
Nelly.
rated. It might be PG rated. I don't think it's R.
No, definitely not made for kids though.
Speaking of R, do you know what a pirate's favorite class in school was?
Arithmetic.
Oh, you're on it right there. And speaking of which, we have a nice excerpt of the Dose Ingredient podcast, wherein we ask you, what is it? Who's your favorite pirate? Is that?
No, we asked who was hotter, Orlando Bloom or Johnny Depp.
Right. So cast your vote. There's thousands of people who have already looked at that video.
The poll's closed on LinkedIn. We could make a new poll on YouTube though. But
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom won. I'm sorry to tell you. Yes, and I can't believe you actually voted. You were complaining it was rigged, and then you tried to rig it. But I'm going to do a shout out to your mom, because she voted for Orlando. And Martha, I freaking love you for doing this. You are my new hero. So your mom canceled out your vote, and Orlando still won. That's right. Science right here. The scientist was right.
I thought you loved me, but she didn't know. She probably thought, I don't know, whatever she thought.
Maybe she loves me too.
I'm sure she does. Mom loves everyone. She's a wonderful human being. And yes, so that is all for today. I think let's wrap it up right there, Devon. Thanks everybody for joining us here at The Dose. We will see you next time. And we're not quite sure what we're going to talk about, but we'll find it, and it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
We are the Nutraceuticos.